Hey you guys, so the peace lily is upset at me and I am upset at myself, and here is the dirt that the peace lily was once in. One second. Boom. This is the dirt that the peace lily was in, that I've taken the peace lily out of the dirt. I can really just see and understand why it was having such a hard time surviving in here. I mean, look how compacted this soil is. I'm sorry, I keep moving. It's just super compacted. It's not even at the bottom. It's just super compacted. And the peace lily was not able to survive in this soil because the soil never dried. So from the first time that I watered it, when I repotted this peace lily, I believe that soil stayed wet, never dried out. Watered it again after I had repotted it. And so just been sitting in this highly compacted, wet soil, unable to breathe. And obviously our fungus gnats came. I'm not sure if you're able to see some of these fly out, but they're in here. So they took over. Now the peace lily ended up getting root rot from being in this soil like that for too long. So I removed the peace lily today. This is a plastic pot. Didn't think that the plastic pot would be an issue, but it was an issue because when you have a plastic pot, it retains water even more so, because water does not evaporate quick enough from the plastic pot, versus if you were to have a terracotta pot like my bromeliad here. When you water something in a terracotta pot, the terracotta pot has the tendency to drink up some of that water as well. Now that may be a problem for some plants, but for the peace lily in its condition in my apartment, that would have been very helpful. So I need to dump this soil out because it contributed to the deterioration of my peace lily. But I wanted to show you guys it. So after the second time that I watered it, the peace lily started to give these wrinkled leaves, and I knew something was wrong. And after a couple of days, the condition of the peace lily looked worse. And so I decided to look at the root system to see what was really going on. Alright, so I moved the peace lily into my bathroom. That's why the light is a little bit different. As you can see, it looks kind of grayish, like faded brown. It almost looks like something out of a graveyard to me. But my peace lily is not dead, obviously. It looks very pretty still. I do have brown tips, but I had brown tips before I repotted it, and the brown tips have not grown at all. They haven't spread or anything like that. So it still has some babies on it or whatever, growing some new growth. So I do think I need to pump the brakes on this root situation here. So I've taken it out of his pot. And I really hate picking it up just because I just feel like it's just so fragile. I don't want to break any roots. But you have some of the thicker roots which are still okay. Some of the roots are just like broke away as I was just simply taking it out of the pot. And these are the roots that kind of didn't make it. I'll probably lose some more roots. There was a root in here I really wanted to show you guys. I think this is it right here. This one right here. See how flat it is? That's a root. That's a root that has been just completely done. Roots are not supposed to look like this at all. These thinner ones are also roots. They just break off. They're really frail. And these thick roots, this is actually like a casting on the roots. So these other roots probably had castings too, but because of the horrible condition it was in for so long, that casting came off, exposing the thinner root, and those may not be able to make it. So what I am going to do, I am going to get all this dirt off of the plant, because at this point this dirt is also hurting the plant. So I have to get it off. There's another flattened out root right there. It's weird. I purchased a pot from or a bin from Old Time Pottery. So I'm going to do it in my tub, and so I can get all the dirt off. And then I'm going to do, I guess, water culture it, just, you know, for a few wood days or until however long I feel like I'm ready to repot it. But that's the goal here. So I took this out of that pot. I'm going to discard that soil that's left over. I'm going to get this soil out from the peace lily plant. And then I'm going to treat the roots to get rid of any like residual fungus or bacteria that's causing the plant to hurt. And then I'm going to put it in a nice pretty vase. Okay, you guys, so I have the bath ready and everything like that. I kind of want to get more dirt out of this root ball before I put it in the tub setup that I have to actually get the rest of the soil out. So I'm gonna see how much I can get out. I'm a little afraid. I'm a really gentle person. I really don't like seeing the roots fall off. I don't know. I'm gonna see how much I can get off of this root ball before I put it into its little station in the tub. Okay. Oh, let's see. Oh, they get so tangled. Look at all those. Oh. I'm just tickling the bottom like that. Just tickling the bottom. A lot of the roots are kind of stuck onto this little thing right here. All these roots are kind of just like folded around each other. So this is the part where the water is probably going to help me get that taken care of. And I can see like a couple gnats like I'm flying out as I'm doing this, so they're upset they don't have a home anymore, but what do we care about them? Nothing. Care nothing about them. Look at these roots. These roots here are just like super duper flat. You can kind of see them. See how flat they are? These are dead. There's nothing I can do with these roots. That's sad, but I'm gonna have to let them go. And see, it just kind of broke off in my hand. I'm barely touching it. And it just breaks off. But they're dead anyway. I can't save those. But it still hurts my feelings to see them like that. I think I'm good to let the water take care of the rest. What do you guys think? The water should be able to handle the rest of this dirt patch. All right, so here are the roots that were lost in removing some of the soil. Here is the soil that was lost. This is a box. Here's the soil that came. That hump of soil right there is what came from the peace lily. That hump of soil right there. Now there's other soil around. Could have came from the pot, but it's really that this hump that came from the actual peace lily, and those are her roots that had gotten destroyed during her horrible situation. Okay, so I have a cute little bath set up for the peace lily to go into so that we can soak off the rest of that dirt. And let's get started with that portion. All right, you guys, here she comes. Now this is lukewarm water. All right, so a little bit more exposure to the roots that would definitely need to be cut. All these brown, mushy-like, thin-like roots will have to be cut. I can keep the ones that look very light, I'll just have to cut the pieces that aren't. Now the rest of this I'll probably have to just run under water to get the rest of that dirt out. Okay. And then I'm going to start pruning the roots, and then I'm going to disinfect the rest of the roots that I'm keeping. Here's This is me cutting off the brown spots or ends of the roots. So anything that you saw earlier that was brown, those got snipped away at this time. It was very hard to get at the very, very top or like the crown is, or where the plant actually starts or where the foliage actually starts. But I got off as many brown ends as I could. These are the dead roots that I had trimmed off by hand. Just look at this one right here. It's a root, oop, brown. It had to go. I wasn't comfortable keeping it. If you notice, some of these roots have feeder roots, which are these little bitty tiny roots that stick out. Little bitty tiny roots that stick out of the main root, and those also turn brown. They turn brown on a white. If this root was white, sometimes it would still have a feeder root that was brown. So I had to also cut off all feeder roots that were brown too. But here's that collection. Here's one that was kind of white, but then turned brown towards the end, and so I just got rid of it. It looks like that. Yeah, that's what happened. And here they are. And this is what is left. Right now I'm using a mug to soak the roots in hydrogen peroxide and water. It is, I think, 1 part to 3 parts. What I have in here is in this jug. Some of it is in this jug. So and already now these happened a while ago, a long time ago. This had happened. I'd say like before I repotted it, this leaf was already deteriorating. It lasted for a long time. I may have to cut it off. Same with these 2 leaves here. Just because I've already trimmed back some roots, I don't want to put any stress on the root system. So it's natural to have to cut back some leaves. So this is going, this is going, this is going. This one might as well go too. This one, this burn, and this burn happened on the same day a couple months ago. So I might as well go ahead and get rid of these. It hurts my heart. I'm going to let this stew just for a little bit. I don't think it needs too much. Like I said, I got rid of the dead and affected roots, but just to further clean what I didn't get, you know, just want to go back and continue to get that as much as possible. All right, so the peace lily is back into its usual spot. This was another change that had happened after I repotted the peace lily. At first, it was in a more bright area. I got concerned because in the afternoon, it gets even brighter than how it was when I took those photos in the original or first video. And so I got a little worried because I didn't want her leaves to burn. It is about 5 o'clock right now. It's probably like 5:40 right now in the afternoon. Here is the window, which is providing the light to the peace lily. Ooh, let's get a different angle. Boom. Window, peace lily. There she is. And she sits there, okay? So this is where she's been at. I do believe it likes it in this area. But now you can have a good idea of why it was even harder for the peace lily to survive in that other pot with all that dirt, because we only have this window here and the peace lily sits in this back corner. The blinds right now, this is as far up as they get. They do not get any more open than this. So this is her normal habitat. I do believe she likes it here. I hope that she can adjust to her water culture. That is whatever shock is going to go through, that is only temporary, and hopefully it can recover and thrive. So let's get a close-up. All right, so here she is, close up. I used distilled water here. I saw in other peace lily in water videos that they only submerge the roots and maybe just a little bit of the little bulbs at the bottom of the plant. And so I gotta keep an eye out on this. In the meantime, I'm going to do a little bit more research on how far deep the peace lily can actually go. I'm going to call this Peace Lily Diaries, and we will have an update to see how she carries along. But I plan to 100% put this peace lily back in the soil. I don't plan to leave it out in this condition. I do, so far, I think that the soil is best for the peace lily, but we will see. Here she is close up. I am proud of the peace lily. You see they have this leaf that hasn't even uncurled yet. And even though it was going through all these things, it still managed to produce some little babies. And it's little babies that she's producing, that she was able to produce. I don't know if I can get a good picture of one. The little babies. It's because of those that, oops. There's one right there, right there, and right there. There's several others closer down to the root of the plant, but because of those, that's why I feel like she still, or it still, has a chance to survive in this environment. I really hope she pulls through. Okie dokie.